Hello, friends. Welcome to today's show. I'm Dr. Helen, founder and chief engagement officer of Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, and your host of Dr. Helen Speaks Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. Thank you for showing up today. We appreciate you. And do not take your presence lightly because there are other places you could be right now doing something different. And our time together is an opportunity to continue on the journey of lifelong learning, to add value to your life as a leader and your leadership whenever you tune in. When you tune in, know this: we hold a firm commitment to invest time and energy to bring you relevant information, to pour into your knowledge well. That's right, it's that deep reservoir that you have that continues to grow and add to your next leadership level. One of the most significant lessons I've personally learned is that the most effective leaders are lifelong learners, and who you learn from matters. The more you invest in yourself by choosing to learn and expand who you are as a leader, it strengthens your leadership. So, as a leader, when you continually and consistently invest in your leadership development and professional growth, you elevate your leadership forward. How you show up to lead, equipped and empowered to effectively engage, is essential to your success, but not only your success, but to the success of your team and your organization. So here's what I want you to capture and really take hold of is that no one, absolutely no one, can do what you do better than you when you're at your best. Even when you're not at your best, no one can do what you can do because there's no one exactly like you. So I show up here to motivate, encourage, and inspire you to keep investing in yourself, to be your best you. My good friend John Maxwell says the world will be a better place when people are better leaders. So to be the best leader you can be is why Dr. Helen Speaks exists, to help you do you better, however, whatever that looks like for you, plain and simple. I don't have the magic formula for how you show up as your best, and I don't pretend to. This is my life's work, though, to show up for you, to coach, train, consult, motivate, inspire, all those things. The social proof is through the hundreds of coaching sessions with leaders and teams that I've had the honor and privilege to experience. Phenomenal transformations. Mind blowing. It gives me, every time I read survey results after a training or hear people talk about it afterwards and come up to me and just say, I am just always humbled by that. Do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? Yes, I ask this question at on every show. Why? Because it's more than a simple yes or no question. It's a question packed with potential and possibilities to keep you thinking, growing, and moving forward toward your best life ever. Doing what brings purposeful, meaningful, joy and fulfillment to your life. Yeah. Mm. When I think about that, it really fills me up. I just have to share that with you because it doesn't have to be that way. And so if it is that way for you and it's showing up for you that way, oh my goodness, what a gift. Yeah. Mm. The value of aligning who you are at your best is worth talking about and sharing with others frequently. You'd be surprised at the feedback you get. And it's not about bragging rights. Oh, this is what I'm doing. No, it's really about testing the waters in a sense. How's it respond? How's it, reverberate back to you when you share it? At the end of the day, it's a form of positive reinforcement to keep you going forward and keep others informed on what you're doing. So don't be willy-nilly in sharing what you're about and what you do. You want to do it so that you enroll others in the good work you're doing. It's a great way to think of it as accountability for what you want to manifest in your life and in the world. I do believe that leaders show up as leaders because they have something to contribute to make the world a better place. You see, leadership isn't for everyone. Now, there's some people who think that it is that anyone can do it. It's just not that simple. And it takes work. And as we're ushering into a new season with a new season, yes, it's a wonderful opportunity to refresh or launch a new agenda. Or you could look at it as maintaining and being able to recognize that in this new season, you have an agenda that's working. But if you don't take some time in moving forward to take a look at where you're moving from, it doesn't always mean that you should throw out the old and start over. Right. Nor does it mean you need to change course. It's an invitation, really, to assess where you are and where you're headed. What intentions are you bringing into a new season? How aligned are they with where you want to be? And on that note, today, you're hearing it here first. We're launching a new series. I love these series. This is part one, a new agenda for a new season for a fresh agenda. A new season, a fresh agenda. You don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. What do I mean by that? I'm full of these phrases of old, and this one's really old, but it's a phrase for an avoidable error in which something good is eliminated when trying to get rid of something bad. Let's just throw it all out. Oops, didn't mean to throw the baby out with it. It can seem a little harsh, but it's not when you think about what that saying is attempting to convey. Even when you have to throw all the water out and start new, you want to keep that part of it that represents the intention, that represents how you were reaching out to do a really good thing in the world. Be intentional in your actions and own the results, the outcome, the output, the end result. They both have lessons to teach you about life. Your actions and the result of those actions. So before we jump in, make sure you've got something handy to capture your thoughts, questions, ideas, and aha moments. You can use all sorts of things: a notebook, a tablet, a journal, a smartphone. Heck, you can use the back of an envelope. All of them work well. You might not get as much as you want to get on the back of an envelope, but a few good keywords can certainly trigger your memory as to why it matters. And when you reduce them to writing, as I was taught long ago, yeah, there's an old Chinese, I'll call it a proverb. I can't think of what, I don't know Chinese. It was a professor of mine that shared it in Chinese and then gave us the English translation that basically said the palest ink is better than the best man's or woman's memory. Or as Sam Horn, a friend and colleague, would say, if you think it, ink it. That's short and sweet, simple. If you think it, ink it. Write it down. Write it down. Capture them so you can easily refer back to them. Reflect on them. Ask questions. Expand your own thinking and continue to build your leadership, your life, and your legacy. That's why today we're talking about new season, fresh agenda. And when you commit time for reflection on your leadership that helps to fuel your own professional growth, the actions you take to make a difference will drive you that much closer to experiencing greater alignment of your strengths, vision, career aspirations, and how to communicate with greater impact in your role as a leader to your team and organization. This is a proven path to leadership success for you because you're creating it. It's not mine, it's yours. However, I'm always available if you need an ear to hear, to listen, to give feedback. This is what draws you closer to being an effective leader. So there are 2 points I want to discuss today. The first one is reflection, as I've mentioned loosely, but what does that mean? It means learning from yesterday to lead better tomorrow. Reflection is what helps you do that in a way that you actually go back and look at the actions you've taken to do things, the successes, the failures even, the missteps, the distractions and detours. All that is a part of what you want to assess to determine, is the agenda still valid and relevant for today? Because you see, nothing stays the same, even if it involves a slight tweak of what you've been doing. Guess what? You tweaked it. It's not the same. It's a refresh. I love that, a refresh. Yes. But it could be that you're moving right along as you should be, as you're planning and all that you did, and that reflection back to what's gotten you to here is what helps you to determine that. We have at Dr. Helen Holton Associates what we call the TBD principle. It is to think, be, and do. And I'm inviting you right now to give yourself permission to let go and be fully present to the power to propel you forward when you think deeper, to be more intentional. Yes, 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 that's what we're after. Be more intentional and do something. Take action to move closer to your goals. Make a note. Look, put it on a sticky. Think, be, do. TBD. Someone might see it and say, oh, to be determined. What are you waiting to do? No, it's about think, be, and do. Put it somewhere so you'll see it every day. The deeper meaning or inquiry is, what are you thinking about? Really giving thought to? This is where intention comes in. What are you doing on purpose because you know it's going to shift you or sift through some things that maybe you need to discard or bring an awareness of some new things that you need to add to? Number two, how do you plan to be more intentional about your leadership? Be, that's the operative word. How are you going to be? How are you going to show up with whatever you've gleaned from your reflection? And when will you do? That's the D, do something to make it happen. It's a quick way to be accountable to yourself by using the TBD principle. Think, be, do. It's very real. So I want to talk about the first, what I consider like really, really, really important elements for you to move forward in a new season and a new agenda, or a new season and a fresh agenda, because it doesn't have to be new. Maybe you're just like like fluffing pillows. Yeah, to make them plump and oh, so nice when you lay your head into them. Reflection is really a very powerful tool that I don't want you to underestimate the value in. Taking time to identify key milestones and successes that contributed to success, but you also want to look at those things that didn't, that caused pause, that created disruptions or delays in getting to where you want to be. And so you want to be able to really be authentic and transparent when you're doing that. If you know there are things you could have done better because you were distracted, or looking at team members who just aren't carrying their weight, that you need to figure out what you're going to do about it. Were there missed opportunities or unexpected hurdles? You see, in dissecting these experiences, you can refine how you're going to show up with a fresh agenda because you've looked back over your shoulder. What did we do over there? And come to a new conclusion or a better conclusion. The second thing to really focus in on, once you're clear on the intention, you need to communicate it. You need to communicate the vision and strategy that you're going to pursue. Think of it as building blocks. You're building unity in purpose amongst the team. Because let's be clear, you may be at the top of the team, leading the team, but it's only team doesn't have an I in it. So if it's only the way you see it and the way you want to go, how's that going to resonate with your team? You want to ask for their feedback. You want to encourage them to participate, to grab hold of. You see, your vision is most effective when it's embraced by the team. You can't do everything, you need help. And that's what your team is for. However, you don't want to lead them in a way that you're the only one who knows what the game plan is. That's not helpful. Leaders must go beyond formulating a vision statement. They must actively communicate it in a compelling, and not just compelling, but in an inspiring way that you're getting their buy-in. They're getting excited about it. And when you see your team get excited, what does that do for you? It gets you even more excited because now you get the sense that, yes, the vision, make it plain and simple, get everybody on board, or almost everybody, because the stragglers may need a little more extra incentive to get wind of where you're going, to catch on and grasp the impact of what you're seeking to do. So you want to also regularly articulate share the vision and the strategies. Depending upon the size of your organization, if you're in one location, if you're in multiple locations, will also impact how you share that. And so you want to give consideration to that. You may want to do one-on-one discussions with some of your more higher ranking members of the team to help shape and make sure when the rollout occurs to the whole team that you've got a core group that are going to support where you're going. Because let's be clear, it really all begins with you, the leader. Yes. You want every team member to understand how their individual contributions align with the overarching goals. So while you're doing your reflecting on the agenda and what happened last year, looking backwards and looking forward, you want to make sure that you're encompassing a two-way communication approach. You don't want to sit there and have that conversation all be with you. You want to share it with the team. And this is what I love about diversity and inclusion, because it is in the space of inclusion that you really bring others along with you for the journey. Now, whether you use everybody's input or not, at least you had the presence of it to factor into the whole. Because you see, the whole, so I learned in science, the whole is really greater than the sum of its parts. It really is. And so bringing that all together, if you've got a newsletter or something, you want to put it in there. If you've got a weekly communique that goes out, include it. Because you see, too often I encounter teams where no one's really in tune to the vision. The vision should be simple, clear, concise, and impactful for everybody, even strangers or customers and clients that come into your place. It should be clear enough that they can grasp hold to what you're saying and how you're showing up. Yeah. So these are just some of the things that make it really impactful, and why these are the first two things that you want to focus on in making sure you have a fresh agenda in a new season. Whether it's scrapping the old vision, which I don't recommend unless you're really spending some time around visioning, but tweaking it and knowing why you're tweaking it. And that can only come from that look back over what you did to get to where you are, to assess it before you go forward. Yeah. That's how these things come about. It's not rocket science. It's actions that you put into play. And so when you spend the time as the leader really combing over what happened yesterday, that will lead you into tomorrow, lead you into a future that you don't know what it's going to be just yet, but use what you have with intention to make it better. And that you have the power to do, so that your entire team gets it. Your entire team. You see, because without the whole team on board, it doesn't happen. Does not happen. Well, you don't have the entire team on board, but the majority. Because if you're moving forward with an agenda that there's no buy-in to, how successful will that agenda result? Not very. And if it does, it's because you're doing all the work. And if you have a team, what does that leave your team to do? Not too much. So this is where you really come into play, of leading, inviting others in as co-contributors, so that at the end of the day, you're not sitting there Well, our agenda failed because no one got on board. Well, did you invite them? Did you allow them to have input to the vision? Because it should be a shared vision with you and your team. That's how you make these things really work. And so, leaving you, how will you take action with what you take away today? We encourage you to share it with us. If it matters to you, it matters to us. Because you see, your feedback allows us to continue to feed forward into you, to support your ideas, curiosities, frustrations, and plans to be a more intentional leader. I'm here because of you, to motivate, inspire, and help you change lives by engaging deeper with the vision you hold for you, your team, your dreams, and your organization, not just for today, but tomorrow as well. You see, your future begins right now. Seize this moment. It's the one you have right now. Make it count. The next one is not promised. Make this season the best season of your life. That's a way of life that leads to transformative work. And at Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, we engage in life-changing work every day, driving results with leaders and teams to move forward to more of what you're after. Everything rises and falls on the shoulders of leaders, just like you. Leaders drive visions. And your ability to lead effectively with intention is a choice. It's a conscious choice, influenced by who you are as a leader and how you choose to show up as one. I'm Dr. Helen Holton, founder and Chief Engagement Officer of Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. Just like you, I have a team that supports me in doing this work we do together. And it matters a lot. It is a big deal for us. And we want it to be a big deal for you because we want you to do what no one else can do better than you, and that is to lead your team, your organization with excellence. And we show up here every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, to bring you closer to living your best life ever. Have an incredible new season. Until next time.